Hey there, it's your local vampire here, and today we're actually talking about a pretty interesting subject to me, that being commissions. Now, I know I've spoken about my commissions in the past, and mostly it has been about advertising my own commissions, but today, as of the new year, I wanted to try something just a little bit different, and let's ignore the fact that we're already in March. This video is just a tad bit late. Anyways, let's talk about it. I've been taking commissions for years now. I have several horror stories, and I also just like to browse and see what other artists are taking commissions and just take a peek, notice things that I like and dislike about them. So, this is kind of just an overview. I will not be mentioning any of the artists I'm referencing, as again, I don't want them to feel harassed or put anyone down in this situation. The only artists that I will be mentioning are artists that I look to for inspiration. Anyways, I do also want to mention I am not a professional. This is just what I have experienced and my personal preference. So feel free, you do not have to take my advice. This is, as I said, my general opinion. So that, let's go on to the next section. Presentation is also a very important aspect. It wraps up a lot of the themes that you usually draw. In my case, I draw a lot of cutesy but also gory art. So there's both aspects of cute and little gory hints throughout the theming of my presentation. So generally what artists will do is they'll have multiple pictures showing pricing and extra details and how much those would usually cost. And it's never really in a blank void. You're not going to really have that, hopefully. So theming is a very important part of that. Now, of course, I'm your local vampire, so I definitely have some vampiric aspects, but I am also very digital oriented with some things that I will share possibly later on. But I have a lot of digital aspects within my content and what I post. So there's a lot of nods and hints to that. In my most recent iteration of my commissions, which should hopefully be on screen right now, there's a lot of drips to hint at blood. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but we'll see. But there's a lot of hints to that within just in general the theming. And another part of that is consistency. You want to make sure that this theming is consistent throughout it. This time in all of my slideshow shots, everything has that bit of lace and the drips, and it generally has the same color scheme as well, which is also very important. And then there's other little nods and hints to aspects that I draw a lot. So there's ribbons on my character's leg, there's the bat wings because I draw vampires a lot. And just all of that, you want to make sure it is cohesive and it fits the theme of not only the example character that you're using, but your brand. And I know that's like really weird to talk about, especially if you're a small artist, but your brand is very important. More often than not, draws in more people because they want to make sure that they're going to get what they're going to get, they have an expectation, and generally what I do and what I know a lot of other people do is they'll go and look through your profile to see, what are the other kinds of art that you post, so they can get a better understanding of what they can expect from you. So this is definitely very important. Now, you don't have to worry as much when it's just art that you post normally, but there should be some ties back and forth between what you generally post and your commission sheet. Now, again, this is honestly one of my preferences, but I generally use my persona, Athens. He's a vampire, so I use them a lot for advertising. When I'm speaking on screen, you see him pop up every once in a while to express emotions for me, and that's very important. He's a big part of my brand and just the overall aesthetic of what I do. And I do unfortunately see that overlooked a lot, and I often find myself just a little bit disappointed because I was hoping to find more work that fit the aesthetic of what I was looking at. Now, again, this is more nitpicky, and it is honestly up to you. Again, this is an observation. Now, moving on, we're going to talk about platforms. Platforms. So, in general, when I use platforms, I want to make sure that I'm both familiar with the platform and comfortable using it, as you're going to need to use a lot of platforms if you're an artist. You're going to have to link your other accounts and just generally be well versed in the platform that you're using. So even when it comes down to advertising, of course you want to advertise on all of your platforms, but you want to heavily advertise on the platform that you get the most interaction on. And that's very important. As I said, it draws in the most people, and it's going to hopefully eventually build a little bit of a fan base for you, so that you can start building upon that. Now, this is also something that I like to bring up because I know you don't have to be an artist to watch my videos. Uh, I know a lot of people who are not artists who tend to enjoy artistic videos like this, and that's perfectly fine. So another aspect I like to look at is, what does it look like if you're buying commissions? What is going to be comfortable from that aspect? And from there, I generally need to stop saying generally. I suggest using platforms that are very comfortable. Um, so I like to use Discord. I have a business account that I use to take commissions and talk to people about commissions, everything under that line of thought. I have a separate account for that all gets processed through that account. I have a website that is built that if you put in just a message from in the message box, it will send me an email with details, so if there's something going on with my website or whatever the case may be, that is something I can access pretty freely. And I find that so comfortable. I also like to use platforms like uh, Tumblr. I know that's pretty popular. It's where I have received a lot of commissions, actually. Um, and I also like to use, when it comes down to commission forms, I like to use sites like Google Docs. Now, this is my personal preference. I haven't really done much digging anywhere else, as I do like to stay kind of in my comfort zone. Um, so, if you have a different site that you feel most comfortable with, or you know a lot of artists are using, and or even if you just have a different method that works really well for you, please comment it down below. I really want to make this a place where other artists can uplift each other. Um, so, as far as platforms, make sure that you're comfortable with the platform. Build up an audience before uh, submitting commissions, as it can look a little sketchy, unfortunately, if your first and only post is just advertising commissions. Because as I mentioned earlier, we do tend to sleuth and look through to see, what does your other art look like, so we know what to expect. And that's very important. Okay, now on to the next part, which is going to be advertising. Now, advertising is a bit of a slippery slope. Of course, you want to use platforms that you most likely have a good audience build up for that, but I've been taking commissions, when I was a much smaller audience, which I know is crazy, especially with how big YouTube has gotten now. And oh, oh my god, it's so amazing that I have people who are watching and entertained by the work that I do. And I'm just so starstruck. Oh my god, you guys are so sweet. Um, but on that, with advertising, your number doesn't matter as much. Um, it certainly helps, but just make sure that you're somewhat present on the platforms that you are advertising on, as that does tend to draw in more people to look at what you are creating and advertising, and that generally helps. Oh, that's the word again. I'm going to put a counter in the corner. How many times I say generally. But again, it helps keep a steady flow when it comes to commissions coming in. And with that, don't be discouraged. Commissions and artists are having a really rough time right now. And I've been in points where it feels like, oh, but what's the point? I haven't gotten commissions in a while. And that's a valid feeling. You're okay to feel that way. It's understandable. And all I need you to do is take a deep breath and remind yourself that it's okay. It's okay to not have a constant, steady stream of commissions coming in. Once you're a small artist starting out, you don't want to rely on commissions as your sole form of income. It's unstable, and genuinely, I don't suggest it. It's not my main form of income, and it is genuinely something I do as a hobby. Um, Now, there of course are going to be people who can make commissioning their full time, and honestly, props to them. That is, oh, mind blowing to me. The fact that you can get that much attention for that is honestly mind blowing. Um, but in general, keep in mind, especially if you are an artist under the age of 18, that you most likely won't get a lot of bites. Uh, because as an adult myself, uh, hopefully, I know this isn't the same for everyone, as I definitely have some stories from when I was a younger artist where creeps get involved and it's not a fun time. So please do stay safe. Make sure that you are comfortable with the people that you are taking in as clients and that you stay safe. Don't disclose any information you are uncomfortable with disclosing and stay firm on your boundaries. And especially if you are under the age of 18, I suggest advertising your art to friends and family and just go out and sketch everywhere. I know it seems unlikely, but I've gotten commissions from just waitresses passing by and I'm sketching in my book. I've gotten commissions that way. I've gotten commissions sitting at a library. Um, you just never know. And stay firm. It'll be okay. Trust me. And even then, you're gonna grow, and I can't wait to see what you guys post. That being said, if you have any other platforms that you suggest, or you yourself are doing commissions, advertise them in my comments. I don't mind. I would just prefer that it stays in this video um, because it's very important. I want to make sure that we're definitely getting a bunch of artists who have these commissions open and just, go look at other artists, see what they're doing, and see if, hey, this is something you would like to do with your own commissions. That's very important. Anyways, now with all of that, I think that might be the end of the video today. I hope you all are doing safe and that you're happy and healthy. And even if you're not, I hope that you're at least taking care of yourself because you deserve it. And as always, if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them down below. I will do my best to respond. Thank you all so much for your love and support. Bye!